Information shared on the following program is for general information purposes only. It does not constitute legal, tax, investment, or other advice, nor is it intended to recommend any particular investments, products, or financial instruments. Always seek advice from your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant with regard to investment, legal, or tax questions.
Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money, the Worry-Free Retirement, with your host, nationally recognized retirement specialist and four-time author, Tony Walker.
Of all the things I've learned from meeting in person with more than 15,000 savers over these past 38 years is this. Come heck or high water, no matter what interest rates are being offered over at the local bank, or whether the stock market is going up or whether it is going down, the one thing all savers have in common is the fear of one day running out of money in retirement. And while the fear of running out of money has always been of concern, it has only been during the last 20 years or so that the fear of running out of money is looking like a real possibility for many savers. 20 plus years ago, most savers enjoyed guaranteed income for the rest of their lives from something called a pension. Plus, they could always just run down to the local bank and safely earn guaranteed interest rates of 6% on those CDs. In fact, it was pretty simple stuff, or what we would say pretty worry-free. Fast forward to the year 2022, and you've got a totally different retirement picture. With banks paying next to nothing in interest, pensions all but extinct, and folks on Wall Street telling savers there are no safe havens, like this cut.
Certainly there has been a lot of fear creeping back into the market. Where do you think we're heading from here?
Well, unfortunately, there's no safe haven.
Only adds fuel to the proverbial fear of running out of money in retirement. But no worries, because if you're a saver feeling helplessly hopeless as to what to do with your life savings, I have good news about a product that our clients have enjoyed for years, a financial tool that guarantees savers will not run out of money in retirement. And it's available to anyone who is looking for that safe haven to protect more of their money. The same safe haven my granddad enjoyed in retirement, and now you can too. So, Tony, you ask, what is this financial product that can guarantee my principal plus pay me an income I can never outlive? Well, surprisingly, it's called an annuity. And today we'll learn which types of annuities Tony Walker Financial uses to protect our clients' 401k plans and other savings, and which annuity might be right for you. So, let's get started. Well, welcome, folks, to the Worry-Free Retirement. And yes, I am that little man in the sweater vest, safe haven specialist and fiduciary, Tony Walker. And today, before we share with you the two different types of annuities for safeguarding more of your 401k and other savings, let me introduce to you, right here in the Louisville studios, America's favorite financial sidekick, Mr. Aaron Orander. Good morning, Aaron.
Hey, good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing real good. And how are you doing on this, if you can believe this or not, June 28th, 2022? How are you doing on this fast-moving year?
I know, the year is flying by. It's kind of ridiculous to me.
And by the way, when will this show, when should it air? What weekend or what date?
This show is going to air, I believe, on August 11th. Okay. So we're about a month and 10 days or so out.
Okay. And again, for those of you listening for the first time, you might say, what the heck does that have to do with anything, Tony? Well, the dates have a lot to do with it, especially as we're in these tumultuous stock market years and times. So I wanted to make sure to know that. Okay. Before we kind of get started, Aaron, last week, this is kind of part two of where is a safe haven to invest your money, and we're going to really take a deep dive into the two different types of annuities we use at Tony Walker Financial to safeguard our clients' money. But any thoughts on the safe haven or thoughts on what I might cover in this upcoming show?
Well, I got to be honest, sir, when we started this, we didn't really start it as a series. It's just kind of last week we talked about, the best way to have a safe haven for your money. And I was really kind of shocked after we got done filming, and I thought, man, Tony didn't talk about his grandpa, his granddad at all, really. I mean, you may have barely mentioned him, but you didn't really talk that much about your granddad and how, he is kind of where your philosophy stemmed from.
Well, that's a good point. And in preparation for this show, you kind of mentioned that in passing the other day, and I thought, You know, because people have asked me, where did you get this philosophy that was born out roughly 20 years ago? There is a reason, folks, I use the year 20 years ago, because it was right after 9/11. That was back when I was managing money hot and heavy, and that's when they flew into those Twin Towers, and for 3 years in a row, the stock market went down, that I finally said, man, I got to find me a product, something that is safe. And quite frankly, I thought, what was it that my granddad used to enjoy? And what he enjoyed is something called
mailbox money.
So today, we're going to really take a deep dive. We're going to talk about Granddad's mailbox money, where it evolved from, where has it gone, and the 3 types of mailbox money you can enjoy today. Some of you, one of those you're not going to get to enjoy, but how we at Tony Walker Financial can emulate this retirement that I watched my granddad be so worry-free in. So when we return, not only are we going to talk a lot about Granddad, but I'm going to share with you the 2 different types of safe annuities you can use to protect your money and make sure you don't run out of it in retirement. Good stuff coming your way. I'm Tony Walker. You're listening to the Worry-Free Retirement. Who can you trust? It's one of the most important decisions you'll have to make. Question is, are you ready? Well, we're here to help at Tony Walker Financial. You know, we care more about you than we do your money, and we have over 2,000 happy clients and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau to prove it. Rolling over a 401k, confused about Social Security, maybe you're afraid of running out of money. Learn how to use and enjoy and protect your hard-earned money. Log on now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and let's get started. Have you recently retired, been laid off, or offered a pension buyout? Has the company you work for moved, been acquired, or closed its doors forever? And finally, do you have a 401k with a previous employer you'd like to move to safer territory? Then take advantage of this opportunity to move your 401k or lump sum pension to Tony Walker Financial. Let's meet in person to discuss your retirement options. Log on now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com to schedule your free, no obligation appointment. Let us help you today. Well, last week, as Aaron mentioned in the break there, we did talk about this idea of a safe haven for your money, and really this stemmed from I guess it was something you saw on the internet, Aaron. In fact, play that again where the young lady, what is this, some sort of financial show or something, and it's a Wall Street deal, you can tell, because she talks about there's no safe haven. So play that clip real quick again, Aaron.
Certainly there has been a lot of fear creeping back into the market. Where do you think we're heading from here?
Well, unfortunately, there's no safe haven.
So what is a safe haven? Well, last week we talked about that, first of all, a safe haven is really some place that you can take refuge. We used the example of ships out on sea and how choppy the waters can get and how storms can come up and how much they desire to get back to shore or docked up. And it's the same way with your money. Many of you right now are out here floating at high seas and the markets are knocking you all over the place. And in fact, some of you have lost 20, 30, 40%. I've seen as high as 40% losses in 401k plans, which again may not be bad for investors or people who are in their 40s or early 50s. But for those of you listening to this show who are in your 60s, 70s, or getting ready to approach retirement, you and I both know this is not good news. 20 years ago, as we talked about in the last segment there, you could have run down to the local bank. Maybe you had a $500,000 401k and you roll that puppy over to the bank and they were paying a guaranteed interest rate of 6%. Remember those days. Anyway, you take your $500,000, leave it at the bank. It's protected. They pay you 6% or $30,000 a year of interest. You draw off the $30,000 a year of interest. Your $500,000 principal goes to your kids or your wife or whoever when you die, and it's all worry-free. And secondly, now this is something most of you don't have, a few of you still do, but secondly, and probably most importantly, we talked about my granddad a little bit, and I am going to take a little deeper dive back into my granddad because this is really important to help us understand what an annuity is. So granddad had something called a pension offered by his phone company, Bell South. So let's go back in time, and Aaron, I know you've seen these slides. We're going to have them on the TV show in detail, but I'm going to go back in kind of a timeline. So do you remember the year because you've seen this, do you remember the year that Granddad graduated high school? I'll give you a hint. It was probably the worst economic time in the country's history. What year was that?
Oh, it was like 19 36?
You're close, 32.
32.
Okay. So he was born in 1914, graduated high school in 1932, smack dab in the middle of a depression. So he was offered a job from the phone company climbing telephone poles. Do you think he turned it down, got on monster.com and checked around some other places? What do you think he did?
Yeah, I think he kind of, highballed his salary negotiations and said, let me think about it. Give me the weekend. I'm going to go to Vegas and think about it. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, he probably shook hands right then and there and took it and said, I'll start tomorrow.
And he didn't really tell me this, but really back in those days, pensions were just kind of coming to the forefront. And here was the thing people realized, because jobs were so scarce, and to work with a big phone company or automotive company, that back then was what we would call a safe haven job.
Yeah, that was security, yeah.
Oh, huge security. Yeah. So when Granddad got with the phone company, other than I think he worked a little bit on the side for WLEX TV as a camera operator or something back in the 50s when he lived in Lexington, but basically he stayed with that phone company until 1978. All right? Long time. And he climbed up the telephone pole ladder and basically became an engineer and was a very bright man, and he retired. And when he retired with something called a pension. Now, what is a pension? And a pension, first of all, folks, you have to understand, a pension is by definition an annuity. So when many people badmouth annuities, they don't understand even what an annuity is. These are Wall Street people, by the way, who don't sell annuities, so they obviously aren't going to promote them. But an annuity and a pension are synonymous. In other words, annuity and pension are what we call mailbox money. That's what my granddad called it. So what is mailbox money by definition? Mailbox money is any income in retirement that is guaranteed, this is the key word, guaranteed to last for the rest of your life. Was I clear on that, Aaron?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Guaranteed. Did I say guaranteed?
Guaranteed.
Right. So banks cannot guarantee an income. So let's go back to that example. Let's say you put $500,000 with the bank in 2001 or whatever. Okay, so it was paying 6%. You're making $30,000. I said that was guaranteed, but obviously we know they can't guarantee $30,000 a year because what are interest rates paying now, Aaron?
Right, like 2%, something like that. Yeah.
So if they still took out $30,000 a year, but they're only making 2%, eventually they're going to run out of money, right? Yeah, you can't do that. And then Wall Street obviously is not in the business of guarantees, so they're not an option. So where do we go to get this mailbox money? Because pensions are no longer being offered. The second type of mailbox money is Social Security, but we just saw from the Social Security Trust Fund, recently the trustees announced that if they don't make any changes, what was the year that it's going to run out? I think they bumped it up one year, 20.
Yeah, they bumped it up to
2034?
Yeah, 2034.
Yeah. Okay, so that's good news. So it's supposed to last an extra year. It shouldn't run out of money until 2034. So that's not really mailbox money you can predict, but it is a form of mailbox money because for now it's guaranteed to last the rest of your life. So what is the third form of mailbox money? And assuming you're that saver we mentioned in the opening monologue that is worried about running out of money, but you don't have a pension, Social Security is not going to be enough, where in the world are you going to find a product that is guaranteed to pay an income for the rest of your life? Well, it ain't at the banks, folks, and it's not offered by Wall Street. Nope, it's offered by the same companies that protect your car, protect your home, protect your health, protect your life, and yes, protect your income. And that's the insurance company. So many people they get confused. And I said, well, no, Tony, I don't agree with that. I was on a website with one of these big investment firms, and they sell annuities. And I'd have to say, well, yeah, they sell annuities, but those annuities, if you look closely, are offered and underwritten by insurance companies because insurance companies are the only entity that are regulated and set up to make these payments for the rest of your life. They're in the business of protection. So there's three types of mailbox money: pensions, Social Security, and what I like to call, Aaron, the modern day annuities. You know why I use the word modern day annuities?
Well, because we're talking about today. We're not talking about the 40-year-old ones.
Yeah, the old annuities, folks. There's so many misconceptions. The older annuities that used to just go away when you died, although an annuity could possibly go away when you die, that's very unlikely, and you'd have to run out of money. You'd have to use a lot of money before that happened. The annuities today are so much different, these modern day annuities. In fact, if you'd like to order a really good guide that I wrote, there's two of them you ought to order really, and they're free. You just go to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, TonyWalkerFinancial.com. You're going to click on the download section, And I would highly suggest you download Annuities Made Easy and also Mailbox Money Made Easy. Now, if you're not big on downloading stuff off the internet, if you'd like to just order one, a hard copy, we'd be happy to mail you one. You just call our number at 877-499-9255. That's 877-499-WALK. And you just please say, please send me the Annuities Made Easy, Mailbox Money Made Easy. We will need your name and home address. We won't bug you, we promise. And we'll mail you hard copies of those absolutely free. That's going to help. So here's what we're going to do. Actually, Aaron, this is really cool. You know, our own Mary Beth Combs and actually Derek, our Louisville, Kentucky's most laid-back graphics artist, they've been going out and we're getting more and more folks who are clients of Tony Walker Financial who have agreed to just share their story in retirement. I think they've been pretty cool interviews, don't you?
They have, yes. They're doing a great job on those.
And we call those kind of a spotlight on clients. And I think it's meant for an encouragement to those of you who are retired or thinking of retiring that, hey, this retirement thing, yeah, it's a new chapter and all that, but you can make it work and we can certainly help you. So we're going to take a break. I'm going to come back and share with you in more detail what are the two types of annuities that Tony Walker uses for our saver clients. And then we're also going to hear from this couple that we recently started working with who agreed to an interview with Mary Beth. Really good stuff coming your way. You stay tuned. We hope you enjoy this interview. I'm Tony Walker. I'll be right back.
My name's Larry Mitchum from Louisville, Kentucky.
And I'm Elaine Mitchum from Louisville, Kentucky.
Well, starting out in childhood, you know, we had two wonderful parents. I've got an older brother and a younger brother.
I was raised in Louisville. I was born and raised in Louisville. And I have 5 sisters. We didn't have a whole lot when we were growing up, but we had enough.
I just noticed there was something different about her. Really wasn't looking for a relationship, and I think the good Lord had some different plans. And this past May 18th, we celebrated our 32nd wedding anniversary. So it's just been a wonderful life together. We became familiar with Tony just from the television, seeing his commercials on TV, and decided to watch a couple of the shows that came on in the morning, and decided to give him a call and set up an appointment. And that's when we went in together to meet with Tony. I think a major plan for us was just to slow down and stop and smell the roses. The part I enjoy the most is the pace at which I move and slowing down, and really that. And I think what we've tried to do as well is prioritize the things that are most important.
I agree totally with that. I mean, everything he said is perfect.
And for us to be able to enjoy the time, like I said, with working and the busy and just being in the good health, is just really enjoying our time together too, is what we were looking forward to. We have always enjoyed whatever time we've had together. So as far as the quality of that time, I don't think that's changed too much because we've just been so blessed in our marriage.
I think it's brought us closer, really.
Yeah.
In everything, you know.
I think it's just prioritize things. Be prepared to keep yourself busy. You know, I've seen so many people, I've known of people that just get into retirement and don't know what to do with themselves. But being involved with our church ministry and the grandkids, and actually have 2 great-granddaughters right now, so there's plenty to do to keep us busy, but it's nice being able to do the things you want to do. Like I said, the other things we enjoy together is our Saturday mornings, bacon and eggs and Jack Hanna. That was part of our life before retirement, and we have continued that.
Some people would say, you know, being together all the time would be, you know, aren't you tired of being with each other so much, you know? And we're not. I mean, we love being together, and it's doing things together with our families and stuff. It's been great. We love it. We love retirement. Mm-hmm.
Wondering how much money you'll need to retire? Probably a lot less than you think. I'm retirement specialist Tony Walker, and for the past 36 years, I've helped thousands of savers determine when to retire and how much money they'll need in retirement, and I can help you too. To meet in person at no cost or obligation, let me invite you to log on right now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. We look forward to talking with you soon. Welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement, and look who just stepped into the studio. We just got through complimenting our own Mary Beth Combs, our associate producer, who just put that interview together with our clients. And first of all, Mary Beth, thank you so much for your hard work. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, of course. I love doing it. Thank you.
I can tell you do. That's great. Real quickly, how can people, if they're interested in maybe sharing their retirement story, get in touch with you and we can follow back up with them?
Yeah, of course. All they have to do is email me at marybeth@worryfreeproductions.com, and that's MARIBETH at worryfree, WORRYFREEPRODUCTIONS.com.
MOUSE. Thank you, Mary Beth. No, thanks so much. Oh man, Aaron, you got to love these millennials, don't you?
Well, I think Mary Beth's actually Generation Z, I think.
Is she? Yeah, she's nodding. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I got to... I'm the old baby boomer. I'm sorry. So, all right, let's get back to the show, folks. So we're going to do a little quick T&T, Tony in the Trenches, and this comes from Sue in Louisville, a prospective client who came in the other day and had this question, a great question. She said, Tony, I watch you all the time on TV and wonder how you can see anywhere from 20 to 30 people a week, which is pretty much what I see every week. She said, my concern is this. If I work with you and allow Tony Walker Financial to handle my money, how do I know that I won't become just another number? And quite frankly, Aaron, I mean, that's a legitimate question, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I've had that thought myself.
And here's my response to Sue or anybody else that is concerned that maybe Tony Walker Financial is growing very rapidly, which we are, and I'm seeing a lot of people, which I do. And here it is. Behind every good advisor, Sue, is a great staff. You like that, Aaron? You're one of those staff.
Well, I am one of those staff, so of course I like that.
Yeah, it's a great quote, isn't it? But it really is true. You see, folks, what I've done over the years is it's a little different than most advisors. And there's nothing wrong with what other advisors do. What most advisors do when they grow, they hire more and more advisors, and then the owner or the main advisor kind of bleeds into the sunset. What I've tried to do is hire more and more advisors that are fiduciaries. They are non-commissioned. They don't earn a commission. They make a salary, and then hire more and more service staff to take care of all the needs so that I can see more and more people. Does that make sense, Aaron?
Yes.
Because I assume I've been doing this 38 years. I've seen over 15,000 people, overseen more than 5,000 game plans. Nothing against my other fiduciaries because they do a great job. But on the front end, Aaron, would you rather talk to me if there's a serious issue going on with my experience or maybe one of the other fiduciaries? If you had to choose.
I'd go with the experience.
Okay, yeah. And then what happens is I've trained all the other fiduciaries who are gaining more and more experience. So when, not if, something happens to Tony Walker, those fiduciaries are in place. All the service folks are in place. So right now, as a matter of fact, we have 14, this is besides myself, 14 full-time employees in Tony Walker Financial. And then Aaron, Derek are full-time. Mary Beth is almost full-time, but they're employed by Worry-Free Productions. That's my production company. So basically 17 employees. And again, I am not afraid to hire more people and pay people really good money to do good work for my clients. And that's kind of my story, and I'm sticking to it. But it's a great question. And all I can tell you out there, folks, is yeah, I see a lot of people. I work really hard. But I love what I do, and I'm going to make sure that we do the best job we can and that our staff is trained to continue to service what I sell. Okay, in the time remaining, let's get to it. Aaron's over here giving me the chop sign. Basically, folks, here's the thing. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of all kinds of annuities from different insurance companies. But if you're looking for a safe haven for your money, there's really only two types of annuities that we use at Tony Walker Financial. And this is going to sound like a little different twist, but bear with me. One is called an accumulation annuity. Accumulation annuity. The other annuity you can purchase is what's called an income annuity. Income annuity. So let's talk about an accumulation annuity. What is an accumulation annuity, and why would somebody select that? Now, by the way, before I describe these, Aaron, we have a lot of people that will buy both accumulation annuities and income annuities.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you'll see
I hear the word accumulate, and I think building up.
That's right.
Build up. That's
Yeah.
the first thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah, and you're going to see this in a minute, why somebody might have more than one of both. In fact, I do. I've got right now, actually I just took out another annuity. Between me and my wife, we have 12 annuities. Some are accumulation, some are income. So let's start with the accumulation annuity. Why would you want to invest your money in an accumulation annuity? And by the way, folks, this could be an inheritance, money you've got languishing at the bank, a 401k, an IRA, a lump sum pension. But basically, first and foremost, an accumulation annuity is purchased when somebody doesn't want mailbox money. You know, there are people who don't need the mailbox money. I've had people say, well, Tony, I got a big pension, I got Social Security, I don't need any mailbox money. I just want to accumulate some money on a safe basis that I can draw out one day and use how I want. That would be an accumulation annuity. Number two, these are really popular because interest rates are going up. You might want an accumulation annuity that pays a fixed interest. In fact, right now, we have a 5-year, this is guaranteed, Aaron, 5-year guaranteed fixed interest annuity paying 4%. Pretty good, isn't it? So you might say, well, Tony, I'm going to give you $200,000. We'll put it with the insurance company, 4% on $200,000. So that means we're going to be able to send that person $8,000 a year, and we can divide that by 12 and send it monthly for the next 5 years, guaranteed, no fees. And at the end of 5 years, the money is still there. Or if they don't need the interest can accumulate and compound until the 5 years is up, or 3 years, or whatever term we choose. The other type of accumulation annuity is what we call a staggered annuity process. Now, this is where we might have a large case come in. Somebody has several $100,000. They want to take money out at different times, and we can strategically stagger those fixed payments out and accumulate them differently. We can show you how that works. That gets a little more complicated. Most advisors don't understand what that even means, but we can show you how that works. So basically, we can use fixed interest, fixed indexed, and this is going to surprise you, Aaron. We also have a new product we use. Yep, believe it or not, it's a variable annuity. We use it very rarely, but why would we use a variable annuity? This is a no commission, low fee variable annuity. So if you're sitting out there and maybe you're on the younger side, you're 40 or 50 years of age, you're making a ton of money, you're in a very high tax bracket, you're okay with a lot of risk, and you want tax-deferred growth, but you don't want to pay all the huge fees that variable annuities come with, please contact us because this is a cool strategy for that specific person. Probably not a saver, more of an investor, but I think you're really going to like it because it's so low-fee oriented. Okay, real quickly, income annuities. My favorite. That's what Granddad would have loved. That's his beloved mailbox money.
Mailbox money.
Why would you want income annuities? Well, of course, because you do want something out there that's guaranteed to pay you an income for the rest of your life. That would be called an income annuity. Now, are there drawbacks to income annuities? Yes, there are actually. In many cases, an income annuity, a good income annuity, may come with like a 10-year surrender term. So if you get out of those early, you could get hit with some huge surrender charges. So when everybody's promising these guaranteed incomes, always ask what the surrender charges are. Make sure you understand what those charges are. Secondly, many income annuities come with fees. A lot of agents won't tell you about these fees. So remember, if somebody's promising you 6, 7, 8%, 10% bonuses, 15% bonuses, 20% bonuses, always ask, is there a fee for that annuity? And if so, what is the fee? And finally, income annuities, especially fixed indexed annuities, generally don't pay as high crediting rates as an accumulation annuity. That's because the insurance company is taking on more risk. Again, these are things you might say, oh, wait a minute, Tony, you're getting over my head. Well, that's why you better work with somebody, if you're going to buy an annuity, who's done these annuities for years. Folks, we are experts in annuities. We're known around the country for our expertise. So please, 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 if you're thinking about buying an annuity, been pitched an annuity lately, maybe shown an annuity that just sounds too good to be true, please let us contact us. There's 2 ways to do that. You can go to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Just click on that Let's Get Started button. Or if you like, just call us anytime at 877-499-9255. That's 877-499-WALK. And we'll be happy to set up what we call a free 10-minute fiduciary phone call to see if we can help you be more worry-free. Well, we've enjoyed being with you today. We hope you've enjoyed our program. But you remember, between now and next week, if all else fails, you be worry-free. Make it a good one.